So, hello and welcome to the New Gig Podcast. I'm your host, Glenn Hodgson, and today I'm delighted to be joined by the community builder of CodeControl and 9am.work, Yurii Lazaruk. How are you doing, Yurii?
Yeah, oh, great. Thank you very much for having me. And I'm super happy to talk to you. I know what we'll talk about a little bit. I have some idea behind, so let's just do it.
Sounds fantastic. Well, let's rewind to the start. Just give us a little bit about your background, Yurii, what you've been doing, and the current focus of your activities as well.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I started from working in the bank, then I turned into entrepreneur. I had an internet shop, and finally, I'm a freelancer right now who's helping companies and startups to build their communities and, in general, connect people. And it's interesting because my journey was very, I won't say linear, because I was working in a bank. I was like getting promotion and all this stuff, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's exactly what I wanted to do. But then, like, oh, maybe I should start an internet shop. Maybe I should sell some goods for kids. And then, like, I started to understand how marketing works, how SEO works, how paid advertisement works. And I was like, oh, I don't know anything about this. I need some people. I need to meet someone. I need to talk to like-minded experts. I want to learn from them. I want to exchange experience. And that's how I started gathering communities in Ukraine without even knowing that it's called
Yeah.
community. I was thinking that it's just people. We're just talking. We are just exchanging experience, and definitely we are having pizza at the end of every conversation. And okay, it was the start of the conversation. We had pizzas at the start. That's where really conversation started. And then I was like, when the war in Ukraine started, I was
Yeah.
like, I lost 10 sources of income in Ukraine. I was like, what the hell is going on? I don't know. And then I reached out to David Spink, the founder of the CMX. It's an international community for community builders. And I was like, David, and the first message was not that I lost my job and all the stuff, that I lost my income. First message was, hey, by the way, do you know what the hell is going on in Ukraine? So here is the message. Please spread it all around the world as
Yeah.
much as possible. And
Yeah.
the second message was, by the way, do you have any projects for me? And it was fun because I didn't have a CV. I didn't have like prepared portfolio of what I do, how I do. And the fun thing that I was building communities for 5, 6 years before the war started.
Yeah.
And I've done every mistake possible in community building by myself. So I went through these mistakes without being taught how to do stuff, how to connect with people, how to engage with people, how to connect them with each other, etc.
Mm.
And then I was like, oh, it looks like I have some knowledge. Yeah, that's good. So that's how I would say my freelancer journey started. And currently, I'm an international freelancer that works with different companies, with different organizations, and talk to people all over the world and
Mm.
helping them to really understand the power of human connections and to build communities of people who are passionate, who are really want to make things happen in the good way, and who are really looking somebody to connect with, not just do everything by yourself,
Yeah.
but who understand that together we are much stronger and who
Yeah.
are trying to leverage this opportunity.
And that's an interesting thing, Yuri, that you say this because you've kind of started doing this almost naturally by instinct. But I can imagine within that, a life in a bank, a life of a traditional 9 to 5 was probably something that you realized quite quickly. This wasn't going to give you everything you needed and it wasn't going to satisfy you.
The fun thing that there is a joke that freelancers are saying that I'm a freelancer right now, so I can work not from 9 to 5, but I can work from 9 to 9, from 9 to 10, and even I can work for the whole night.
Yes.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's a half true, because I noticed that it's hard for me to sit in one place
Yeah.
and do constant effective work, because I can do some good work in the morning, then I can do some good work like at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Or I can do some good stuff like in the afternoon. But when you are doing this 9 to 5, everyone expects from you that you will do everything exactly in these time
Yeah.
boundaries, no matter how passionate you are, no matter what level of energy you have. And I also have a kid and two dogs. I need
Yep.
to meet my kid from school. I need to walk my dogs. And
Of course.
I don't know. I need somebody to do this for for me
Yeah.
if I'm in the office all the time. So I'm finding all these pieces of time here and there, and I can't say that I work less than
No
a
way.
normal employee who works from 9 to 10. It's
Yeah.
totally not. But I would say that there is more effective, and I use my energy levels. When I feel energized, I do the most of the work. And
Mm.
sometimes I feel like, oh, I can't do anything, like I'm sitting just in front of the computer and then, oh shit, I don't know what to do, and then I just go for a walk, go for the park. I can't imagine that in the bank somebody will tell me, okay, you're stuck. Yeah, go for a walk, just relax. Nobody cares. So
No
that's
one
what helped me
cares.
to really be energized and to continue doing the best work I can.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great approach that you've got there. And I think that flexibility that you can do things on your terms, but it's not an option that you're going to be working less. You're going to deliver the value, you're going to deliver the projects that are required of you. That's not negotiable. And I think that kind of the future of work, I'd say less so now, but a couple of years ago got very linked to this idea that you'd be working less, you'd be working a 2 or 3 day week, you'd be on the beach most of the time, and you'd still be getting money for doing less. I think that myth has been debunked now, but I think people have this idea that, oh well, if you're not in the office, you're not working, which is this ridiculous, outdated mindset it seems very difficult to get rid of.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think that it switched a lot after the COVID because,
Right.
when people got suddenly locked in their apartments and they
Mm.
couldn't go to the park and meet each other and couldn't definitely go to office. And that's where the magic happened because
Yeah.
people understood, oh, by the way, I don't really need to sit in the office to make
Yeah.
my work done. And I don't really need to spend 3 4 hours for transferring to the office and back home. I can do everything at home. And the fun thing
Mm.
that I know that many people started working 2 jobs, so they were working at one job and
Yes.
they just started getting another projects because they understood, okay, I'm doing everything they want from me. I'm
Mm.
giving all my energy and I still have time. So I can do some more. And it's up to everyone because somebody will do some stuff and then go relax, watch service, etc. And
Yeah.
somebody wants to do another project. Somebody will do a pet project. And it's fun because I'm talking to many, many freelancers who started being freelancers during COVID because they got nothing to do. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I always wanted to do this project on my own. Now it's time. And
Yeah.
they built successful businesses. And I was like, wow, it's so interesting. Like, tell me more about this. I love to listen to those stories. And I feel like, when you are on your own, there are definitely people who need to
Yeah.
be around other people to work, because they need some motivation, etc. But one of community members of CodeControl, who I had podcast with, told me that um, motivation is good, but if you really like what you are doing, you don't really need motivation. You
Mm.
just do it and you just love it.
Yeah. And you never waste a good crisis. I think that's a great way that, and
Yeah,
I share
exactly.
that feeling. There's a lot of people who took the opportunity just to try stuff when they were kind of locked down or on furloughed from their existing traditional jobs. They had the feeling that they wanted to try and give them an opportunity to test things. And I think this kind of the mix of the lockdown, COVID, but also the increased use of digitalization, the fact that we have more tools available to us is something that is beneficial. And from your perspective, but also what you see in terms of your engagement with different stakeholders, different communities, how is digitalization, digital tools, and the new means of communicating facilitating this future of work?
It's interesting because before the COVID, I had, let's say, 3 ways of talking to somebody. So first is definitely some kind of messenger when I just exchange messages. Second one is I can call this person. And the
Yeah.
third one is to meet in person. I couldn't imagine that I will go for a Zoom call or that we can even do something like this. You are in one place, I'm in another place.
Yeah.
Still, we have this conversation, and it feels like we're sitting in front of each other.
Right.
And when the COVID started, everyone, yeah, definitely Zoom was much before the COVID
Mm.
itself. But then everyone was like, oh, what should I do? Like, how can I? And then we discovered this amazing tool that allows us to do video calls. And
Yeah.
I feel like it was a game changer because For me, I usually had conversation with somebody I know, somebody who's in my city, and okay, at least within a country I live in. But now I can talk to whoever I want. I can talk to folks from the US. I can talk to folks from the Australia.
Yeah,
And the hardest part is just to find suitable time for both sides. But
yeah,
in general, like there is no boundaries. But also from another point, from another side, where communication is getting so much faster that,
yeah.
you know, can you imagine like 100 years ago, like you were sending a letter, then you were waiting for a week for it to go to one side, then you wait for a week to go it back, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you have 2 weeks of just exchanging one set of sentences. But now we are doing it instantly. And now, for example, if you have any question, your team member, hey, let's jump on a Zoom call, let's have this quick conversation about it.
yeah,
So it's definitely so much better, and raise some kind of anxiety if you are not ready for this. But if you are, you know, if you can build some kind of like healthy boundaries, like, hey, here is the time we're having meetings, here is the time we are having conversations. Definitely we can jump on if it's something super really urgent. But in
mm,
general, here is the time that I'm focused, here is the time that I'm working, like do some mental work and stuff, and here is the time where we can brainstorm and continue our conversation. So it's super important to do this, because otherwise, yeah, it may be a little bit of hectic. So it's all has its benefits and like ebbs and flows. So, but for me personally, I really like it. I really like this opportunity to get to know more people, to connect with more people, to talk to more people, to exchange experiences, because I have many conversations with freelancers and tell me like, oh, I'm the lone wolf, I'm doing everything by
yeah,
myself. And I'm like, how could you do this? It's impossible. You have to
mm,
build your network. And digitalization, this access to all these tools, it's really what helps you to build your network. It's really what helps you to get the most of the projects. Because nobody told me that I get most projects from one person or from one
right.
company. Everyone tells me that I get those projects from my network. So please go and build your network. You have everything you need.
Yeah, exactly. And the tools then, there's so many fantastic tools almost on a weekly, monthly basis, new tools that are making things more efficient, saving time and saving effort as well. It's just knowing where to look and how to be able to utilize them to support you in your engagement, in your work that you're doing as well.
It's interesting. I had a conversation with one person who told me like new tools, especially AI tools,
Mm,
they're being built in this approach like spray and pray. So basically, you create like hundreds, thousands of tools and then pray that it's something will work out. Good approach really to choose what tool to use is not like, oh, wow, it's interesting tool. Okay, so what problem can I solve with it? But to really have your problem and then find a tool that you can that can helps you to solve this problem, because otherwise, you know, it's all easier to create problems for yourself, but it's so much
yeah,
harder to really identify what problems need to be solved.
yeah.
And for me myself, yeah, definitely I use Zoom. I do it for every kind of conversation. Then I do some podcasts. I do conversation with our community members, and then I use Descript. It
Okay.
helps me to create small video clips. It helps me to finalize our conversation and to create like this podcast episode.
Yeah,
Then I
yeah.
definitely use ChatGPT, because you know, some people say like, oh my God, AI is so bad. Like you can't use ChatGPT. It turns your brain off. But then exactly, if your brain is already turned off, like
Yeah.
there's nothing to do else. But for me personally, it always helps to do the first steps. And if
Absolutely.
I ask
Yeah.
ChatGPT some prompts, it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I will use exactly what it gives me. And it doesn't mean that I will use even the information it will give me like after
Mm,
fifth or sixth or seventh iteration. It doesn't mean at all. It helps me to build this basis, and then I feel it with my experience. I write it in my own words, and then I make
nice.
it. It makes things just so much faster. And then definitely tools like I would say that platforms like Slack or LinkedIn, that's the places where we connect with people, where we can talk. For example, for this conference that we are creating right now,
Mm,
we created WhatsApp group, and it's only for people who purchase tickets.
right.
So they can join this WhatsApp group because they have invitation only on emails that's connected with their tickets. And they can connect with people even before the conference. So
Mm.
they don't even know those people, but they can go to the group, they can do the introduction, and that's how you build your network. So yeah, I would say that it's most of the tools. I also use, I don't remember this website, but something that helps me to remove background of the photos. For example, when I
Okay.
do podcast episodes or something, I
Yeah.
have some photo of person. For example, you are sitting in the room, and then I just upload this photo, and then it gives me your silhouette without stuff behind you. So yeah, there are many valuable and useful things, but mostly I use those that I listed.
Yeah. Well, that's a great segue into the event that we're partnering on, Freelance Unlocked, that's taking place in Berlin on the 15th and 16th. Tell us a little bit more about this, Yurii. What's the idea for this, and what are we going to achieve there?
You know, I when I joined the CodeControl team and 9am.works, it was like almost 2 years ago or even 2 years ago. And I remember almost from the beginning, we started talking that, oh, we have this community. Why don't we do the conference? Why don't
Mm,
we had some community meetups here and there, like up to 50, 60 something people. And why don't we create this huge community meeting for freelancers in Germany,
mm,
in all Europe? Everyone who wants to join, please go join. And then we were like going with this idea back and forth for almost 2 years. And then finally, Mark Clemens is the founder of CodeControl and 9am. Then he connected with Thomas Maas from Freelancer Map, from Manuel, with from Uplink, and these amazing companies, these amazing founders
mm,
in in this cooperation, we created this amazing thing that's called Freelance Unlocked Conference. And the idea behind it is to, first of all, create a platform for freelancers to meet each other, to meet other experts, to meet experts on the future of work, to meet platforms that helps freelancers thrive, and to have these conversations all together, to learn from each other, to exchange experiences, and also to just have fun,
mm,
because like being a freelancer, it's sometimes very lonely way, and
mm.
you can connect with people here and there, but most of things that I hear from freelancers that I'm very lonely, I don't have friends, because for example, if you have a partner, most likely a partner is not a freelancer, and you can't
Yep.
talk with your partner about like ups and downs in your projects. They will just don't understand you.
Mm,
Or for example, you can't talk about the different projects, because you may have so many projects all at once. Then people will tell you like, how it isn't possible. I'm working on one project, you are working with 5 projects. It's impossible. I don't understand you. So when you are in this place with people who think like you, who do things like you, maybe who are even thinking in different ways,
yeah.
helps you. The more you hear this experience, the more your brain starts to work. And also, we even have politicians from Germany at the
Yes.
conference. So it's not just for people to connect and have fun, but also to influence the economy in Germany, in the whole Europe, to tell people that, hey, we are freelancers. We have our rights.
Mm,
Here's what we're doing. Please do not think that we are employees. Please give us good tax environment. Please help us to strive. So I feel like it's something, definitely we're doing it for the first time. And I know it's something that I'm passionate about, something that I'm thinking about. I don't know what will happen in the end, but I would love to see it as a first step to really have this huge collaboration of freelancers, of experts and platforms who are really not
mm,
just talking about building a great freelancing future, but who are really doing some steps in
yeah.
order to make this future amazing happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's going to be a fantastic event. I'm looking forward to the 2 days, just on a personal basis more than anything else. I think it's going to be a great opportunity and great to connect. And I think that Germany is a great market as well, for this, because, biggest economy in Europe. And, we're seeing sort of a lots of changes. Germany's been seen as quite traditional in a lot of ways, but it'd be great to hear some of the anecdotal evidence, given that your communities that you have. How is Germany evolving? Is it proving to be something that's popular amongst individuals, the freelancing concept, either doing it on the side of an existing job or having a more project-based approach to careers. How is this development moving forward, would you say, Yurii?
I hear different thoughts from different people, and
Mm,
I can't say that they're all moving in one direction. Because, for example, some freelancers in Germany, they are saying like, oh, it's so hard to find projects. I can do this. So
Yeah.
I'm going back to 9 to 5. Some people are telling that, yeah, I'm doing this part-time job. Then I'm finding some projects here and there. I'm working on them, but I'm not fully freelancing because I have family. I
Yeah.
have things to, I have mortgage to pay or something like that. I need a source of stable income. And some people don't care. They're just freelancers. They're having fun. They're doing amazing jobs. They're working in different projects. And it doesn't mean that they live only in Germany. They
Yeah.
may be registered in Germany, but they live in all of Europe. Even they go to Asia or somewhere, and
Yeah.
they travel, like work as digital nomads. But what I really heard about the Germany itself, that people there mostly think about stability, and
Okay.
it's really hard to deal with this feminist nature freelancing,
Yeah.
because recently it was this decline in the economy, on the freelancing economy, where it was harder to find projects, especially when you're a developer or in this tech niche. And I feel like currently market is coming back, so people are getting more and more projects, and it's easier to find them. But still, during this few years, people were like, I don't know, should I continue doing this or
Mm.
not? But then I heard this mostly from people who doesn't really have a strong network, who
Okay.
doesn't really build their brands, who do not think about marketing themselves, and who think about finding new projects only the moment the previous project stopped. And I'm always
Yeah.
telling, hey, first of
Yeah.
all, build your network.
Mm.
Go to different community meetups, like participate in different webinars, connect with people on LinkedIn, do some LinkedIn posting. It's not that hard. You have ChatGPT, like come up with some, think what your clients might be interested in, come up with some structure, go to ChatGPT, it will help you to create posts, like go
Mm.
build your brand, go connect with people, go have coffee chats with them, tell them that you are somewhere here. Because can you imagine, for example, there is 100 experts and only one is local. Can you guess who will get most of the projects? I
Mm.
guess it's easy. So this one person,
Yeah.
because they are local, and other 99 people, they may have some projects, but it depends. So I'm always telling people,
Yeah.
like, if you really want to be a good freelancer, you have to always talk about yourself. And it doesn't mean that you have to brag. You have
No.
to just present your expertise and tell people, like, hey, I'm here for you to make your project, to build a project for you if you need it.
Yes.
So yeah.
I think that's fantastic advice for people to be able to get out and be able to unlock what they need. And also, I think that now we're looking into this mentality of, yes, one job is the traditional way of doing things, but having several projects at the same time is sometimes better. And you talked about security and stability as well, Yurii, and it's almost your own insurance policy is to have sort of several clients, several projects, several pieces of work, either at the same time or lined up. Is probably a better way of working, that if something falls off, then at least you've got something else that you can dial up on and secure your future and the work portfolio.
Yeah, I meet at CodeControl. We are mostly a community of tech developers, and
Mm.
what I noticed that sometimes there are people who are really good in communication, but mostly not that good. And it's really hard for them to talk about stuff, to talk about to build this communication with new teams. And for them, it's so much easier to work with one project, with one
Yeah.
client, like long term. Like it's just easier mentally. And
Yeah.
other people, they can easily communicate with others. So definitely, if you have like going on 2, 3, 4 projects, it might be hard to switch between them. But if you are doing almost the same, but mostly for different companies, and you are good in communication, you are good finding out what exactly has to be done, how you can help those clients, and you can communicate what work you do. So first of all, you learn a lot. You learn from every occasion, from every team member you do. And the fun thing that if one team got stuck at some point, you can learn something from another team, and you
Yeah.
can use this knowledge and help this one team to get unstuck. And that's exactly what helps, because, for example, when you are working from 9 to 5 in one place, you are doing the same things over and over and over again. You basically have nothing new. And at some point, you are just, looking at the world of technologies through this like hole in the door, like keyhole. And you don't know
Yes.
what's going on in the world, but the more
Mm,
projects you work on, the broader your experience and the more you really can bring to the table, the more experienced person you are, and the more people ready to pay you for that. And
yeah.
at some point, I was doing some kind of consultancy, UI, UX design consultancy. And what I really loved about that I had access to many, many, many companies from one sphere. And then I didn't even have to work in one of those companies. I had an overview of the market. I knew what are the trends within the industry. I knew what they are doing. And people were ready to pay me only to have those insights because
Yeah.
I talked to many, many companies and I have this information under my brain, in my brain. So the more you work, better for sure. Like you only add into your experience, and then easier it will be to hire you in the future for your potential clients because you have something you can really share. Not like, oh, I was working for this project for 20 years. That's
Mm,
one thing that I'm a really expert with. But you can say like, hey, I was working with like 20 projects. I was doing like different things, and like I'm good at that. Like here is the
yeah.
proof. So I'd say to go for that, but you have to be really careful. And what really helps for me, exactly what I've told, that if I see that something is working in one project, I try to take it and use it in another project. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that it will work in another project. You have to be really careful, but I'm trying to test one thing on different projects because it helps me mentally. It helps me mentally to, not create something new for every company, for every project, because they don't really need something new. They need things to be done. But
Mm.
how do you do this? It's up to you because you are an expert.
Mm, absolutely. I think that that's crucial to have that mindset that you almost learn all the time. The more you do, you learn from each thing, different ways of doing things, but also engaging with different people and those accelerated feedback loops as well. You're not waiting for a annual performance review. Every project you're doing, you're getting feedback, you're finding out what works, what doesn't work. So you're also helping in terms of the projects, but you're also fine-tuning your own skills, knowledge, and expertise as well.
And always remember to ask for recommendation,
Yeah.
because if you are doing a good project, maybe sometimes even if you are doing a bad project, you can still ask for a feedback. Maybe
Mm,
you don't want it to be public, who knows, but it'll help you to continue improving your skills and understand what you've done wrong and what have to be changed in the future.
yeah,
But also, if you're having those recommendations for previous projects you've done, that's what really helps you to secure your future projects.
of course.
Because when people search for projects, they need this social proof. And here is a
Yeah.
social proof. Like, I worked for this project. Here is a feedback. If you want, you can contact this person. You can talk to them. Like, it's totally cool. And, because some freelancers who are working with many projects, but who are not vocal, who are not on LinkedIn, for example, who are not sharing this feedback, it's the same that you are not having any feedback.
Mm,
Because when, for example, recruiters or somebody who search for a person for a project looks for you, like LinkedIn is really a good space to find you. And if they see that you have a blank page, why should they spend
yeah,
time for you?
exactly. Yeah,
So please get all the information, put it on LinkedIn, and let people think about it. Let people find you.
exactly. That's great advice. Yuri, really looking forward to Freelance Unlocked, working with you. And also, thanks for these insights. And we look forward to hearing more afterwards as well. And thanks for spending your time today. And good luck with all the activities that you've got on the field as well.
Thank you very much, Glenn. Super happy to talk to you. And yes, I'm also looking forward to another conversation, but once again with Mark, Thomas, and Manuel, who will tell you like how did it gone, how did it went, like what happened at the conference, what goals did we have, we achieved them, and like what are the future steps. And I'm loving so much learning from it myself.
Mm,
And I think that after the conference, we'll have also a ton of things to share.
completely, completely.